You're watching Taste the Victory.
Well, let's start this new meta off right with getting the most anticipated deck out of the way right away, and that is Crossheart, Shoutmon and friends, showing off the new Digicross mechanic introduced in this set, and it was introduced in the Cross Wars season of the anime. So Crossheart is basically like 80% of the deck is in archetype, because you need to match the names for the Digicross mechanic, so you're going to be running the bulk of most deck lists the same cards, and then basically it's just made up of your little tech choices that you want to make as meta calls. Mainly just your options and an extra couple of tamers or something like that. It's basically definitely going to depend on your local meta, what you want to round up the rest of the list with. Digicross is a new mechanic introduced with Shoutmon X4 and a bunch of other Digimon that are crosses in that season of the anime, which is basically designating specific Digimon names, and if you have them in your hand or on the field, you can put them underneath the Digimon you're about to hard play to reduce the Digivolution cost by however much is listed on the card. So it's kind of an absolutely insane mechanic, because if you read the card, you can do it with cards in your battlefield, you can do it with cards in your hand, and if you have Taiki out on the field, you could do it with cards that was saved on your tamers as well. It's just absolute utter insanity. The main two important cards of the deck are going to be this Taiki tamer here and this Shoutmon Cross 4, which is why we're running it, both of them, at 4 copies. So let's go ahead and start with them so we get an idea of what we are building up to in the deck profile. First up is Shoutmon X4. I believe it's pronounced Cross 4 specifically because it's like all of them crossing into one Digimon. It is 9 to hard play, 8000 DP, 3 to Digivolve from a level 3, because yes, amazingly, this guy is only a level 4. It has material save too, which means when this Digimon will be deleted, you may place 2 of his Digimon sources that are in his Digimon's Digicross requirements under one of your tamers in any order. So basically, if this thing gets deleted, you get to save the pieces to then later use them again with Taiki's effect to cross again. It's kind of insane, which makes it kind of hard to punish cross decks, which is why they're so efficient. Then you have on play draw 2, because you are crossing, which technically is not a Digivolution, so you are not going to draw for Digivolution when you do a cross effect, but I mean Cross 4 makes up with it in a way better way with draw 2. After that, you have end of attack. You may place all of the Digimon sources under one of your tamers in any order to unsuspend one of your tamers. If you do, delete this Digimon. So that effect basically lets you set up right away again for another cross. The main thing you want to do with this deck is loop Shoutmon and Taikis to be able to do a bunch of them right away with the rush inheritable that Shoutmon gives you and attack your opponent's security. It's kind of insane because once you get one going, unless you start bricking or have really bad luck with your draws, you're basically guaranteed to go ahead and do another one because you're drawing 2 on play alone. And then if you have any number of Angis, or rather Akari in the Japanese dub, out on the field, you get to draw in addition to that. So like, it's kind of hard to mess up once you get actually going, but there is a chance to brick because you do need like 4 minimum to be able to go for your cross requirement, you know, printed on the card. So you are sometimes, a lot of times really, you're stalling because you're missing just one piece and you want to dig for it. But once you get it, it's pretty kind of hard to fall apart. So let's go ahead and then read Taiki so we see where the loop comes in. It is 3 to play because he is not a memory tamer. It is on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Crossheart and its traits among them to your hand, and 1 Digimon card with Crossheart and its traits under this tamer. Return any remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. Your turn. When playing one of your Digimon with Digicross requirements, by suspending this tamer, you can also place cards from under your tamers, that is any tamers, into Digivolution sources by Digicross. So you have this on the field. You can basically play sources from your hand, the field, or under your tamers. It's not an either or situation. You could do all of those if you have to meet the requirement. It's just absolutely insane the leeway that they gave the main characters of the Cross Wars anime. It's insane. So yeah, this guy will unsuspend your Taiki and you can do it again, and then you want to have multiple outs so you have enough to go over game. That's basically the core win con of Digicross Cross 4 deck. So let's start from the bottom and move up. We got Pickmon as our egg. Mainly this is a guaranteed draw, and we want to have it because it has the Crossheart trait. You don't see a 5th egg here because, again, a lot of these Digimon you're going to see have specifically a requirement to Digivolve 0 from a level 2 with Crosshearts in its traits. So that lets you ignore the colors. So these red guys, they can all Digivolve over a yellow egg because they have that special Digivolution bar, and Pickmon has the Crossheart in its traits. So you specifically just want 4 of these eggs to make sure you always have the draw for Digivolution. It also has the inheritable. When attacking, if your Digimon has Crossheart in its traits, draw 1. So not only do you get 2 for playing this guy, you also get to swing and draw a 3rd card. So yeah, Pickmon is, or rather Pickmons, it is plural, is absolutely amazing busted egg. Then we got Sparrowmon. So if you notice, the other main cross guys are all at 4. We have Dorulumon at 4, Ballistamon at 4, Starmon at 4, and Shoutmon at 4. Sparrowmon is one of the main Digicrossers halfway through the anime, but we are only running this one at 3 because it is honestly the least important of it. If we look at Shoutmon Cross 4, its Digicross requirements are Ballistamon, Shoutmon, Dorulumon, and Starmons. So you absolutely want 4 of those so you always see enough to be able to go into Shoutmon X4, but we're also going to be running Shoutmon X5, and it includes Sparrowmon in its Digivolution Digicross requirements. So because of that, Shoutmon X5 is kind of like a finisher, and because we're only using it specifically for this, we don't really need to stock up on as much Sparrowmons as the rest of the cards. So let's go ahead and read it though. It is 4 to hard play, 2000 DP, Digivolve 0 from a level 2 with Cross Hearts in its traits, and then all turns, while you have a Digimon or Tamer with Cross Heart or Twilight in its traits, this Digimon gets plus 3000 DP, and then on deletion save, which lets you put it underneath the Tamer. So typically this thing is always going to be swinging for 5000 DP, which is amazing for a rookie. Opponent's turn. While this Digimon has Shoutmon or Mervamon in its name, this Digimon gains Reboot. So that's absolutely insane because Shoutmon X5 has a blocker on it, so being able to attack and then still reboot with it is awesome. But like I said, this is honestly the least important of your rookie lineup. Then we have Shoutmon. Shoutmon's really great. He has 4 to play, 2000 DP, or Digivolve 0 from a level 2 with Cross Heart in its traits. On play, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 Digimon card and 1 Tamer card, both with Cross Heart in their traits among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. He also has save. And then your turn, while his Digimon has Shoutmon in its name, it gains Rush. So this is what letting your Shoutmon Cross 4 and your X5 attack right away as soon as they come out to play, and you get to ignore Summoning Sickness. Because of that, I think Shoutmon is arguably the most important of your cross lineup, and it has to be at 4. You want to prioritize when grabbing it off of searches if you have to make a hard decision. That Rush is just insane for your game plan to be able to attack and win. Then we got Starmons. He doesn't have a main effect, he's just on deletion save. And then when attacking Inheritable, if this Digimon has Shoutmon in its name, draw 1. If you don't have Pickmon, because you have to hard slam this guy, you still get to draw anyways. So like, it's insane. Basically a Shoutmon Cross 4, if it doesn't pass turn, is always going to be draw 3 more or less. So like, it's just insane the consistency you get once you have set it up, even just once, you're good. So yeah, Shoutmon, Starmons isn't too crazy, but that consistency is really nice there. And then we got Ballistamon, Digivolve 2 from level 3 with Cross Heart in its traits. So again, he can ignore colors and go over Shoutmon, for example. Opponent's turn, while you have another Digimon or Tamer with Cross Heart in its traits, the Digimon gains blocker, and he also has on deletion save. He has Inheritable to give Shoutmon in its name Piercing. So that's really cool to be able to clear your board while also attacking with your Cross 4, but also being a blocker is really important in a pinch, because sometimes you really just want to buy one more turn to see that missing piece in Cross Heart, and then you also have a way to cheat this guy out. So having a free blocker like that is awesome and makes Ballistamon really great. We went over Cross 4 already, he's just insane. And then we got Dorulumon, 4 to play, 4000 DP, Digivolve 2 from a level 3 with Cross Heart in its traits. On play, if you have another Digimon or Tamer with Cross Heart in its traits, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 TP until the end of your opponent's next turn. So the fact that it lasts to your opponent's turn is really great. And then on deletion save, and then your turn, while this Digimon has Shoutmon in its name, all of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 1000 DP, which is great because this guy is only 8000 DP. So that saves him a lot sometimes because you need it to live. You don't want it to get deleted in security, so you can get his end of attack effect off. So Dorulumon is really fantastic spot removal to get rid of a Solarmon or a Psychmon that's blocking and will stop your cross mechanic. It will stop you from reducing your Digivolution by Digicross. So you want this guy out very well, which is why we're running it at 4, especially since there's a way to cheat it out with Akari. Then we have Shoutmon X5, security attack +1, blocker, material save 3, which is a lot, and then Digicross reduces it, and that's it. But like security attack +1, blocker, that's awesome if you need one more turn. And basically, if you have all 5 of the Digicross requirements, this guy is literally free. So he's usually what you're going to use to end the game once you have ran out of all of your Cross 4s and you need one more hit. And if not, you just need to stall another turn. He's got blocker. He's amazing. Even in the early game, he's not awful if you see all the pieces because he's got security attack +1 to be aggro early. It's great. After that, we got DeathXmon. DeathXmon is here as a tech choice. It's basically a meta call. I like it because it kind of accomplishes the same thing as Crimson Blaze, except this is a body that continually keeps doing it over and over again. And then it also punishes Tamer spam decks. So like if we see decks with a lot of Tamers, this reduces the cost a lot as well. It's not just Digimon, so it kind of adds up pretty quick and kind of fast in this format. It helps in the mirror too, because Crossheart decks got a lot of Tamers on field, so you're usually going to have like a very cheap to free DeathXmon, and you have to force them to spend the removal on it instead of your other cards that may be on the field. Usually all your stuff is going to be underneath Tamers though, so you're not too worried. But yeah, it's a meta call, and like this is probably one of the most flexible spots in the deck if you can't run it, trust me. After that, we got Fireball, aka Pyrosphere. It is 2 to play. Main, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less, and if an opponent's Digimon wasn't deleted by this effect, draw 2. So we're running this to get rid of stuff like Psychmon, to get rid of stuff like Solarmon, to get rid of stuff like Chikurimon. We cannot have those on the field because those little rookies literally stop our entire deck. We can't Digicross if they're on the field. That's insane. Those little rookies stop our entire boss monster. So Fireball is incredibly efficient removal, only 2 memory to get rid of it. And usually if you start at 3, 2 will give you just the 1 memory that you need to cross into cross 4. So yeah, it's an amazing removal for that. You don't even need to save it for that. If you know they don't have it or you already got rid of it, you can just use it to draw into your missing pieces. It's an amazingly versatile, cheap option. It's incredible, which is why we're running it at 3 as opposed to 2. Then we got Sunrise Buster, which is absolutely stupid in this deck because you have so many of your tamers being red and yellow, and you will always have like a huge count because many of them are incredibly important to get out early. It's only 5 cost. It plays you another yellow or red tamer, and then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn for each yellow or red tamer or red tamer you have in play, and its security effect activates it in its main effect, so this can save you on your opponent's turn sometimes. So yeah, helps you expand your tamers that you need. Like you get a free Taiki to start your loop, or you could get extra draw with this, or remove something with the Dorulumon. Like yeah, this, if you play this and then play Akari, Akari will play out Dorulumon and the DP minusing will all stack, so you get a huge like spot removal with the Sunrise Buster. It's incredible. Amazing card. You want to run it at 3 minimum, and some decks run it at 4. Feel free to if you can find the space. Like if you can't get DeathXmon, you can cut this down, run this at 4, up Crimson Blaze, something like that. It's amazing. After that, we got Senjuto. Senjuto is really cool. He's 3 to play. On play, you may play 1 Ballistamon from your hand or from under one of your tamers without paying its memory cost, so that gives you a free blocker, and then your turn, when you play a Digimon with Crossheart in its traits, you can suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory, which effectively makes Crossheart free to play. Insane tamer. Amazing. We want to run it at 4 because of that synergy with Cross 4. Then we have 2 ties, so this is the only non-Cross Heart tamer in here, because it's really nice. You want a memory tamer at the very least. Getting choked always sucks, so you do want to have that option to play it out if you see it. He's 4 to play, gives you guaranteed 3 memory at the start of your turn, and all of your Digimon all your red Digimon with 4 or more Digivolution cards gain security attack +1. So Shoutmon Cross 4's Digicross effect puts 4 underneath it. He automatically turns Tai live when he comes into play, so this guy could be attacking for 2 security if you have Tai out. So it's amazing synergy in this deck, and guarantees you 3 memory, which is why we're running it at 2. However, this deck can play through a lot, and it's not incredibly crucial, which is why we're only running it at 2. Then you got Taiki. Isn't it really cool how all the Digimon tamers have some kind of amalgamation of Tai in their name to keep tradition of Tai, the OG main character? I've always thought that was very cute. But yeah, we've went over what Taiki does. It's incredibly important to the win con of it. You need to run it at 4. And then we got Akari. I've been alluding to her a lot in this deck profile. She is 3 to play. On play, you may play 1 Dorulumon from your hand or from under one of your tamers without paying its memory cost. Your turn, when you play a Digimon with Crossheart in its traits, you may suspend this tamer to draw 1. If you have multiple, that stacks and you can start drawing so much. It's such a great tamer. You love this card. Do not be afraid to play this out without a Dorulumon in hand. If you don't have Dorulumon in hand, this is still very okay to play in the early game, because if you cross your cross 4, you know, it'll still get you your draws. And if you have 2 out, then you're drawing 4. If you have 2 Akaris out and you play cross 4, you tap them, you draw 4. It's ridiculous. So yeah, do not be afraid to play it without a Dorulumon in hand. It's totally fine. Then we have Crimson Blaze. This is basically just your answer to if decks go wide. It is 6 to play, but it reduces by 1 in your hand for each Digimon your opponent has in play. Main, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less, and your opponent can't play Digimon by effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that second effect does come up in this meta, because you have stuff like Hydramon, or not Hydramon, I'm sorry, that's next format. You have stuff like Bloomlord, you have stuff like Jessmon. It stops them from playing for their next turn, which is huge because it basically pauses them for a turn, and you also get to clear their board 6000 DP or less. All the relevant play cost reducers are less than 6000. You know, Psychmon, Solarmon, so if they have multiple out, you can clear them with 1 Crimson Blaze. So it's an awesome card, and then it's cheap. Like if they have 2 of them out, you're playing this for 4. It's a fantastic card. There's very high value in it. So yeah, this is like the answer to a wide board. And that is going to be the profile. This deck is absolutely insane. And I usually don't say this, but I'm very confident in saying this is probably one of the most optimal lists for Crossheart, because there's only so much variation you could do in it with 80% of the cards being in archetype. However, like as I always say, never take any Digituber's word for gospel. Always experiment to your heart's content, and your list will always be affected by your local meta or what you expect to see in regionals. So definitely experiment with text and do what works better for you. But this is just a baseline list for you guys to work off of. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This deck is absolutely insane. It's a lot of fun playing it because it sets off so many neurons in your brain. That was a profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.